So I decided to clean my aquarium today. This is how it looked before. It looked so terrible. When I looked at it, it was a little bit murky and brown and everything was unpleasant. Again, my aquarium is in my bedroom. There is nowhere else for me to put this thing around the house. Everybody else is careless here. And this is what I always say about people with animals. That's why I keep these animals directly in my room so I can care for them whatsoever, and then I can always watch over them when I'm around, and I can lock them away when I'm not here. So what I did was I took some of the water out, the tank water I mean. I took it out, put it in the bucket, and then I took out the fish and put them in that bucket so I don't have to acclimate them into new water while I clean the tank. So this was me trying to catch the small goldfish. These are black moss that I got from a friend. They were brought in from Thailand. So these guys are the ones who probably contaminated my tank, because I recently had ick in my tank, but then I like to believe that I got rid of it. So I put them in clean water that I dechlorinated, and then I took this water directly from the tap, and then I put it in the sun until it was warm enough to not acclimate the fish. I checked the temperatures, and then there was less than 1 degree Fahrenheit difference between the water. So I put them there in the sun because, you know what, they never seen the sun, these guys. So I just wanted them to see the sun just this one day. So again, I still struggled with the small ones. These guys are super fast. You won't even believe that these are black moss. Look at them. Surprisingly, I have a big black moth that I bought around here in South Africa at a pet shop. But then this guy looks nothing like these small ones. These ones are a little bit round bodied, and their eyes are much bigger than this one that I bought from South Africa. However, the orange telescope has big eyes, just as a telescope should. So again, I checked on them if they were okay, if they were not trying to jump out the bucket, and then what I did was I kept the water level low so that if they tried to jump, they wouldn't be able to go out. And then I took out the old water from the bucket and threw it down the drain, because I mean, what else am I gonna do with this water? I know some of you guys use it for plants. I'm gonna use some of the water that's in the tank for the plants. The reason I threw this water away is because I was doing 100% water change. What that means is that I took out all the water from the tank, and then I cleaned the tank, cleaned everything, and then made sure that the tank was 100% clean. Because if you know something about ick, is that when the temperatures are warm in the tank, the ick will detach itself from the fish, but it doesn't die immediately. If by any chance the temperature drops, the ick is gonna reattach itself on the tank. And here's me checking up if the fish are fine. I moved them from the sun, put them in the shade, because I didn't want them to cook in the bucket, and also I was afraid that the birds would eat one of the babies or something. So this is me taking out all the rocks from the tank. By the way, these rocks are 100% real. They are original. I never bought them whatsoever. I collected them around where I was driving, and I would see nice ones, and then I would just decide that, nah, you know what, I want this one, I want that one. So this was me taking the rocks out. I already took out my pothos and my spider plant. Also, the plant holder that I made for those plants, I used the PVC pipe. Okay, look at my avocado seed. This is really coming up really nicely. You see that? Okay, yeah, well, the PVC pipe, I used match to bend it, and then I cut it in between, in the middle, so that the plants could have their stems go through, and then the leaves could stay above the water. I'm sure you'll see that at the end of the video. But then, yeah, there's a lot of rocks in this thing. And then I'm putting my rocks on top of my subwoofers that I have there. I've had these subwoofers for a while, but I haven't used them way too much. So I took them out of the car. Oh, here's a baby trumpet snail. So I had to gently remove this guy from the rock. Okay, yeah, well, I've had those subwoofers for a while. They used to be in my Opel Corsa. So currently the car hasn't been driving for a while. And then there's my Kulilochis trying to hide in between those small rocks, because they were very stressed about what was happening. They didn't understand, I'm assuming. So there's me taking off the rocks gently and carefully, making sure I don't hurt those guys whatsoever. Also, I took out the filters and put them in my clean water to make sure that I didn't destroy all the beneficial bacteria that was in the tank. I didn't want to clean the filters way too clean, because if I do that, then I'm going to kill all the bacteria. And then here's me trying to catch the coolie loaches. These guys are fast. Trust me, look how the water looked after I squeezed some of the sponges of the filters. Do you see that? That's a sign that the water was really dirty. So I brought these two glasses, one glass and one beer jug, so I can put the coolie loaches in one jug, because I didn't want to put them with the goldfish in that bucket, because they would be really stressed. They don't like being poked around. So also, I'm pretty sure if you can see how dirty and murky this water is, it's very clear that there's so much dirt in an aquarium that we can't see, even if your water looks clear. But then the reason why I took out all the water is because I didn't want any ink to remain in the tank. I had no choice but to do this. So I used some of the water to water my plants. These, I'm not sure if they are green bell peppers or it's chilies. One of these two is green bell peppers and one of them is chilies. Tell me which one is which if you know. And this is apparently a Chinese money plant. And there's my pineapples there on the side. And this is some walnut or something. I don't know. I tried to propagate this thing a long time ago. There's my pineapple plants. So this is my compost that I'm making myself. There's like tons and tons of waste and food that we didn't eat and whatsoever. Basically what I do is just kick the bucket down. I didn't actually have a plan about where to throw the water. Little did I know that I was going to waste a lot of it. Some of it went out and it was actually a lot. So but anyway, there was a little bit left. So I put the little bit on the bell peppers and I put some on the chilies. Also, please, NB, I did say that I'm not sure which one is which. What I want to do with this plant, I would just want to drown it with water so that it's going to be easy for me to pull it out of that bucket, because this plant is way too overgrown for the bucket. I need to take it out and then separate it and then put it nicely. And then here's me going back to the tank to get more water out of the tank. Also, that is another plant that I propagated about 4 months ago. Got it from my aunt's tree in Doornpoort. I just chopped some of it down, and then here's me checking back on the fish if no birds bothered them or rats. We have lots of rats here in South Africa, and not the whole of South Africa, don't get me wrong. Here where I stay in Soshanguve, Pretoria, one of the most dangerous places ever. Here's the one coolie loach that I caught. Also, I brought 2 glasses because why? I saw a little goldfish fry in the tank, so I didn't wanna take him out of the tank completely after I had cleaned the tank. I wanted to put him back. That's why I brought the glass, put him in there. Because if he could survive for these 2 weeks, I'm assuming that he can still survive. I've been seeing him around. I've seen the other fish chase him, and then I've seen him hide behind the rocks. That's also one reason why I have rocks in my aquarium, in a goldfish aquarium. I've never seen anybody with a tank like that on YouTube, on TikTok, whatnot. But the reason is also my coolie loaches could use a place to hide, because they don't want to be under the light all the time or being bothered by the goldfish. That is why I have rocks in my tank. So basically, as I'm busy draining out the water, I was trying to catch the other loach, but this guy was too fast for me. So I decided to take out more water and then have a shallow gravel, and then that would be easier for me to catch him. So basically my lights are mounted to my TV. The TV is mounted to the wall, and then I have 2 LEDs, white LED light bulbs. These are meant for your bedroom, your house, for your kitchen. It's those ones that go on the ceiling. And then basically this is me scooping out the gravel with my hand. I did this because I thought it would be faster for me to scoop out the gravel with my hand. But then I was wrong. And you will see now why I'm saying I was wrong. It's because after that, I discovered that it takes me a lot of time. My hand is not that big. So I used this aquarium net. And trust me, this thing worked better for me. It did work better. Just look at every scoop. Every scoop of this thing is way bigger than my hand. But then I wasn't even using it properly because the net was all tangled up, and then I wasn't, you see that? So now it's the maximum that I can get of the gravel. The net was all tangled up, and then I didn't realize that in time. But then anyway, this plan really worked for me. Look at that water in the bucket. The water is so filthy, and this is the one root that came from my pothos. That root was chopped up by my goldfish. That's why right now I'm trying to propagate more pothos out of the tank on separate water. And this is because in this tank, goldfish will always eat the roots, and the plant takes too long to grow. So this is me giving them pellets just to check how stressed they are, because I didn't want to keep them for too long in the tank. And at this point, I was really tired. It took me more than... Let me think about it. It took me more than 3 hours to do this. 3 hours is nothing, man. I think it took me about 4 hours, maybe 4 hours and a half, because I did this from the morning. And then this is me taking out the aquarium heater. What I did with the heater was I put it on the first level, so I didn't have the energy to unplug this heater, because it doesn't have an off switch on it, but then it does have a level where you can adjust the temperature. So I put it on the lowest one so it didn't blow up in my hand when I took it out, because if you take out a heater when it's too hot, it's gonna get steamy, and then it's gonna smoke, and then it's gonna blow up in your hand or in your face, or even worse, or you're gonna electrocute yourself. Here's me putting the stuff in the dirty water bucket. The reason why I have water in this bucket is because I put my gravel in there, and obviously I'm sure you saw that I have trumpet snails in there. There's me bringing out another bucket to get some of the water out. Basically, I drained about 5 25-liter buckets. I don't know what that is in gallons. I'm sorry, I don't have the time. I'm sure you can calculate, or you can Google about it. But yeah, this was the remaining of the water in the aquarium. And then there was still some gravel left there, but because you know what, I was exhausted. I was fucking finished. Excuse my language. I'm sure you will see the gravel that was left behind in a few seconds, because if I do remember well, I did take a video of that gravel. Also, here's me again making sure that the water is still going in, only to find out that the suction was not strong enough, and then it stopped. And then there's me checking again on my coolie loaches. There's the little baby goldfish that I told you about, remember? So let me know if you think I should take that guy out. And here's the pothos that I said I was going to propagate in a separate tank. I'm using these Darrow products. I'm in South Africa. I don't know if these products can also be used, are also products of other countries. I'm not familiar with that. Also, this is not a promotional video. It is not. I've actually been thinking of trying out other products except for Darrow. And then I'm using this kitchen sponge to scrub all the algae off the glass, because there's some green algae that's still stuck there. I don't understand why I have green algae, because when you get green algae, it's usually because of plants that you get underwater, submerged ones. So I'm not sure. Also, let me know if I'm wrong, because if there's one thing that I've learned about fish keeping and aquariums, you can never ever know everything. You can know as much as you know, and then you can, but you'll never know everything. Also, let me just double check on my tiger venoms that I have. These are 10-inch tiger venoms. These actually make a quality sound for movies, and also if I want to play loud music inside the house. But then yeah, this is the one filter that I bought. One guy where I buy my aquarium stuff advised me. This guy works there, only to find out this guy knows nothing about fish. He basically knows nothing. So he advised me to take this corner filter. It's called the Sobo filter. This thing is useless. I'm so sorry. And there's me again checking up on the water and the fish, the rocks. Little did I know that I was supposed to wash the rocks before everything, because these rocks actually dried up as they were laying there. I had to check up on my fish again. I'm sorry, I get stressed. So these rocks got dried up, and then they were a mess. And then it was super hard for me to scrub them after that. I did scrub the rocks, you will see. So I took my towel from my closet, a clean towel, because then I was struggling with siphoning the water out. I didn't want to have to move the whole aquarium. This thing is super heavy, and I don't want to mess up with it a lot, because these things are quite expensive here in South Africa. They are not quite as cheap as in the United States. So I got this one also from Marketplace. I'm sure you can see at the back of my aquarium, I have some piece there by the bottom left corner that's still clear. It's because I sprayed this thing myself, and the paint ran out. I was using matte black paint. It's automotive paint. It's a spray paint. So I ran out of paint. So maybe I'll get some sometimes. I usually forget about it because I'm usually busy. And at the corners there where you see some pieces and spots of black, I used to have a film. I used to have a film, and then I took it out, and then I'm too lazy to clean out the remaining. And this is me using a scrubbing brush to wash the rocks. I'm just gonna show you these two that I did because I don't wanna have to hold the phone all the time. I don't have what do you call this, a tripod or anything like that, a ring light. I have nothing of such, but then I will consider getting some of that stuff as time goes by. And then this is me scrubbing this white rock that I got. Where did I get this anyway? Oh, I got this in the street at the roundabout while I was driving somewhere. And then I saw these white rocks. So I took a few from these. I actually gave some to my cousin after I gave her my 2 goldfish. She has this one fish tank, and then she used to keep tetras, I think. And then, yeah, I think it was tetras. And then apparently she put 2 females or 2 males in there. I'm not sure which ones don't go with which, but she did put 2 of the aggressive ones, and then one killed the other one, and the other one was severely injured. Look at that water. I'm sure you could see how dirty that thing was. So this is me putting some of the rocks back and checking if the water is getting clean, because I did squeeze the sponges in the new water that I put in the tank, in the clean water, to see if I still have some dirt there on them, because I didn't want them to be
I don't like that stuff.
too dirty. And this is me checking up on the tank when the water was just half.
Yo, I miss you too, my love.
I kept this water half because I wanted to actually put the rocks in first before I filled this thing to the top, because if I put the water in and then this thing is filled to that white rock is so clean. Trust me, this is even better with the naked eye. But the reason why I put the rocks in first and then the water is because if I put water in and then I fill it to the brim, as soon as I put in the rocks, it starts overflowing. So this is me with the tank. The tank is filled up. And while I was busy here, some other guy came to check up on me. And then I actually stole some time from work. So this was me again putting the fish back in the tank. Again, I'm not acclimating the fish because this water is the same temperature as the water where the fish were kept. Please keep that in mind. Also, I'm putting them in while the water is still a little bit murky because I did not want to stress them any longer in that other bucket. They are not used to that. Listen to me. Your fish do not want to be taken out of the tank by any means. So only take them out if necessary. If it's not necessary, please do leave them. Do not take them out of the tank. And this is my orange more. When I bought this guy, he was black and orange. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because he was still small, but then he was right around the same size. This is him not wanting to come out of the bucket. I'm assuming he doesn't want to stay for a long time out of water. I know goldfish actually don't die very easily when you take them out of the water. Also, I highly recommend against touching your fish because it messes up with their slime coat. So please do not touch them unless if necessary. Again, this is the PVC pipe that I told you about, remember? These are my plants. Also, these plants are super green when they are in the tank. They are much dark greener when planted in soil. But then in water, they are a light green and they are really, really nice. So somebody actually offered to buy me, what is this? A Monstera. But then it's also a little bit expensive in this country. So here's the fish in the tank with the murky water. And then this is actually after a few minutes, I went back to check if the water was clearing up. And then I went again after a few minutes. Then this is why I've been saying that Sobo filter is useless. I know this is a big tank, but that thing is useless. And then here's the water actually after about 30 minutes. You can still see some bits and pieces of dirt in there. That's why I'm thinking, actually considering of getting a power filter. Maybe that will be better. And then here's my plants again. I think I'm gonna get an external filter. Also, here's my goldfish trying to ask me for food. This is when they beg you for food. Even though I fed them in the bucket, I'm not gonna feed them now because these guys can easily die when you feed them too much. And then, especially if it's pellets, fruiting pellets, and you didn't sink them in water first. So I was checking if everything is still stable, still standing around. If you want to, please subscribe so I can grow the channel, actually get more stuff for my goldfish. If you don't want to, man, that's also okay. Subscribing is free, but then anyway, you know what? Save yours, my brother. Yeah, well, this is basically how my tank looks with the overhead lights that I got. I think I'm gonna get some aquarium lights soon. Bye.